Alright guys, so Legends ZA has been out for a few days now. We've had a lot of time to look at all of the new Mega Pokemon, kind of figure out which ones are going to be good competitively. And a lot of these guys are really strong, but one Pokemon in particular stands above all of them. Mega Delphox. This Pokemon got a tremendous buff to its stats, giving it base 159 special attack and base 134 speed. With access to Nasty Plot for a boosting move and almost perfect coverage, I believe that this is the most broken new Mega evolution introduced, and has the potential to be too much for competitive play. So let's get into it. Alright guys, and here we have it, Mega Delphox. So I have a couple of different movesets here that I'm going to go over. We're going to go over the stats, we're going to go over the moves, and why I chose this Pokemon as the most broken new Mega evolution that was introduced. So if you look over the stats, you can see straight off the bat that we're rocking some serious power here. Honestly, forget the crazy 159 special attack for a second. Obviously that's an insane number, but 134 speed is probably the greatest blessing they could have given this Pokemon. Delphox in regular form wasn't that slow. 104 speed is okay, but it's not enough. We know the power creep each generation has gotten too high. Speed is king. So to see Delphox at a 134 speed going over 400 is absolutely mental. I expected this Pokemon to get a speed boost because, you know, it is an offensive, special attacking Pokemon. They usually do give speed boost to Megas. I didn't expect it to be this high, and this is one of the biggest reasons that I think this thing is the best. Because if we think back to, you know, Gen 9 OU, Gen 8 OU, and all that stuff, we played with Dragapult, we used to play with Zero Aura. Those are very fast Pokemon, right? They hit speeds of 420 plus. But their attacking stats aren't that great. Zero Aura has a 112 base attack. Dragapult's attacking stats are 120 and 100 respectively. This Pokemon got 159. This is the same stat as Mega Charizard Y, except Mega Charizard Y is not coming correct with 134 speed. And let's not even forget that Delphox has access to the holy grail of special setup moves, Nasty Plot. And this is not a Pokemon Legends ZA edition. This is something that Delphox just knows to begin with. So this thing is really rocking some serious power. Now, one of the craziest calcs that I did was that +2 Psyshock will always kill Slowking G max HP after rocks. It does 92 to 108, which is absolutely ridiculous. It's a 50% chance to just straight up KO max HP Slowking G with a +2 Psyshock. I put Psyshock over Psychic just because Stall is still always going to exist, Blissey is always going to exist, and I don't really think you need Psychic on this Pokemon when you have the coverage of Flamethrower. You don't need to hit anything as well on its special defense side with Psychic when you already have Flamethrower. Psyshock does the job. The only Pokemon that I guess would get hit harder is Dondozo, and that's where Grass Knot comes in. So this is the set that I saw spammed the most when I was hosting the tournaments. It was just very easy to win with. Grass Knot is there to hit the rock type, water types, and ground types, Garganical, etc. I would give a big special shout out though to Focus Blast because Heatran and Tyranitar do exist. Heatran is going to be in the game, we know that it's coming back, and also that's going to be probably the best switch into Delphox if it's going to be rocking this set as the most common. Tyranitar coming back, Tyranitar can no longer pursue Delphox obviously, but Grass Knot does a lot less than Focus Blast. Focus Blast might have a chance to just straight up one-hit KO Tyranitar if it's lacking bulk. Delphox also learns a couple of different moves like Scorching Sands, but personally, I don't think that's that useful. Like, it hits opposing Delphox and it hits Heatran and it hits Tyranitar for like 20% maybe. But I think Grass Knot or Focus Blast you're always going to get a lot more mileage out of, and so this is definitely like the best set because the coverage is just way too good. This is more or less Mega Alakazam number 2, but this one has fire coverage. Mega Alakazam's old issue was having to hit Focus Blast, and if it missed Focus Blast on the Steel type, it was over. You're probably going to lose your Mega Alakazam, it's not that bulky. This Pokemon doesn't have to risk any of that stuff. I know I just talked about how it could use Focus Blast, but its main stab to hit Steel Pokemon and Pokemon in general is Flamethrower. There is no accuracy issue here. This is just a great move to just be spamming. But yeah, this is probably the best set in my opinion. Like I said, Psyshock over Psychic, just because you want to smoke the special walls. Blissey, Slowking G. Slowking is Pokemon Company's favorite Pokemon, alright? So don't even expect Slowking to not come back. They love that guy. Slowking G comes back, I'm hitting them up with a +2 Psyshock, knocking them out. Even against Stall, they'd have to go to their Clawzyre and Terra Dark to end up beating your Delphox, I'm almost certain. I think Blissey Terra Darking could end up losing to Flamethrower, like, through the course of the battle +2 just because of the sheer amount of damage it does. Anyways, while this Pokemon is amazing and it's able to take on so much with this speed and special attack stat, we do got to talk about some of the issues too, because no Pokemon is perfect, right? Especially with Mega Pokemon, there's always a trade-off. You have to hold an item, being the Mega Stone, so you don't get to use anything else like heavy duty boots, leftovers, choiced items, all that goes out the window. Also, Delphox, we don't know its ability. Now, the reason Delphox I'm so like certain that this is going to be the best Pokemon is because it looks broken without an ability. Regardless of what this Pokemon's ability is, if it's not something insane like Defeatist or something that takes away from the Pokemon, I really don't see this Pokemon being like worse than the way we're talking about it right now, because it looks broken without an ability. This is just raw stats, good moves. That's it. We don't even know the ability yet. When we do find out what it is, it's probably going to go up another leg in terms of how good it is. A lot of people in my comments have been saying they think it's going to get Levitate, which if it does, that would be incredible. Even past being immune to ground type moves, the fact that a Pokemon that is already weak to Stealth Rock and all hazards is now able to switch in and not take damage from spikes or toxic spikes is amazing. Speaking of the Stealth Rock weakness, I would say that that is another big limiter of using Mega Delphox, and I guess just fire types in general, right? When we got to Gen A, you could just throw boots on your fire type Pokemon, but Megas are finally back, and this isn't just for Delphox Mega, alright? Charizard X and Charizard Y, I'm looking at you too as well, now that you're back. Stealth Rock is on the menu, and y'all are taking big damage, and that's a real thing, right? Delphox, while it doesn't have a lot of switch-ins, it is going to need to Nasty Plot to straight up sweep and break through some of the bulkier Pokemon. Think about the metagame we played today. We have bulky Pokemon that are used to check all types of attackers. Dragonite, Tinglu, Moltres, Alomomola. These Pokemon can sponge a hit from Delphox. However, with just a little bit of chip, all of these fold. In my calcs, I found out that AV Mola is probably your best odds of checking any Delphox set, because +2 Psyshock only really does like 60 something%, and you can flip turn out, and then hopefully you got like Sucker Punch Gambit or something in the back, extreme speed. But when I was going through different calcs looking at, what beats this Pokemon, it really is just Assault Vest Mola that's able to take the hit comfortably. You can also go into, I don't know, maybe Moltres if it's Fizz Def, but you're still going to take a lot of damage, and all you can do is roar out. And then we get to more niche counters like, I don't know, Goodra Hisuian, if you really want to have something that can sponge the hits a bit. But when you're getting into Goodra Hisuian territory, then okay, we just picking up stuff. One thing though, while Delphox does have an amazing special defense, physical defense is still very bad. It's very weak to all of these attacks. It's going to get fried by extreme speed. Let's not talk about Sucker Punch. We know that's killing 3 Delphoxes if Sucker Punch from King Gambit gets used when you have 75 HP and 72 defense. So that's definitely a limiter. It can't switch into really any physical type attacks, so you do got to be careful of that. But honestly, that's nothing new for Psychic type Pokemon. Psychic type Pokemon have always infamously had terrible physical defense stats and not been able to handle those moves. Look at Alakazam, like I keep talking about. But the special defense being 125. Now this is honestly too much of a buff, if you ask me. This is way too bulky. Because when I was playing with this thing and I was watching the different tournaments I was hosting using these Pokemon, I saw this thing live, Golden Ghost Scarf Shadow Ball so easily. It hung on with absolute ease, smoked that thing back with a flamethrower. You're telling me one of the most consistent revenge killers with a very high, more than 130 special attack stat, stab Shadow Ball, that just bounced off this thing? So that's also why I kept bringing up the Fluttermane comparisons, because Fluttermane would live a lot of random special moves because of its 135 SpDef. Delphox is similar in that regard. 125 is really packing some serious strength. In fact, I remember watching one of the tournament battles that I was hosting, and it was Delphox versus Mega Greninja. And Mega Greninja Surf, even though Greninja has a boosted special attack stat, it only did 90% of Delphox. Delphox fried that shit back with Focus Blast. This SpDef actually goes a very, very long way and makes for setting up nasty plots on any other special attacker super easy. This Pokemon can come in on different Fairy type Pokemon, Psychic type Pokemon. If they're lacking the appropriate coverage, this thing is going to set up on them very easily. And even if they do have a coverage move, Earth Power or something, if that's not a stab move, it's going to bounce off. I said that Heatran is a good check to this Pokemon, and it is if this thing is lacking Focus Blast. However, if Heatran is only going for Earth Power, that's really not going to do that much damage to Delphox. Right? 125 SpDef, that's not a one-hit KO by any means, so you can still get pressured very, very easily using this Pokemon. You got to be careful, right? Anytime you run into a Pokemon like this, with this type of speed and this type of attack, it's like unprecedented levels of strength. You got to be really careful. But as I said, there are a couple of sets I wanted to go over, so this will be the main set. Like I said, in my opinion, this is the strongest set. This is what we're going to end up seeing in Pokemon Champions. This is what we're going to end up seeing in Gen 10 OU. Wherever Delphox Mega returns to in a competitive format, I guarantee you we're going to see something like this. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Now, the next set is not too much different, but this is Nasty Plot Encore. We know in Gen 9 that Encore is one of the greatest moves of all time. Incredible support option, can flip games in a heartbeat. We see it on Dragonite, we see it on Booster Valiant, one of the most annoying moves. Now we got it again. on an extremely fast Pokemon. Encore on a fast Pokemon? Dude, peanut butter and jelly. This is it. Dude, it's just so annoying to run into a Pokemon that you know is going to outspeed you and lock you into that move. So this is basically like some high skill ceiling stuff. If you know you can switch your Delphox in on a turn where they're not going to attack, they're going to go for a setup move, they're going to go for a support move, whatever the case is, you bring it in, you get the Encore off, now you get a free turn, the next turn to Nasty Plot, it's over. This also helps Delphox come in on any Pokemon that would want to Calm Mind and try to beat it 1v1, you know? Think about something like Clefable, trying to Calm Mind, no, don't do that. Don't do that, Encore. Even, I'll give you a crazy example. What if I did some crazy shit? I nasty plotted in front of a Ting Lu, and they thought, it's okay, I can go for rocks, because if he nasty plots, I just kill the next turn and I live. But then I Encore the next turn after he rocks. It's a wrap. GG. Thank you for your service, Ting Lu. I can see Encore being one of the filthiest sets as well. Grass Knot Focus Blast is just preferred because of the coverage and the fact that this Pokemon is so good that people are going to try to run like different defensive mons just to keep it at bay. So I figured Grass Knot Focus Blast is going to all around do better. But Encore, don't sleep on that at all. That's an incredible move, and for a Pokemon of this speed, I would say that this is probably in its top 4 or 5 moves. Like, Encore is honestly a slash alongside Grass Knot and Focus Blast, but I wanted to make it its own set just so people knew, like, oh, this thing, like, this is really frustrating. This is not just a coverage demon. This thing has support. It even has Will-O-Wisp, which I did see somebody using in my tournament, and they got very far. I think they got to semifinals. They had Alomomola Alomomola Wish Pass, plus Will-O-Wisp Delphox to kind of keep it around and then let it burn its counters to chip away throughout the game. I think in the game, actually, it burned a Tyranitar and it kept getting past wishes. But honestly, it wasn't strong enough to break through the team regardless. Because if your set is just, it wasn't even Nasty Plot, which is for sure wrong. You need to have Nasty Plot on this Pokemon. Don't be running Encore, Will-O-Wisp, Wish, blah, blah, blah. We have 159 special attack. Please use these things for what they're meant for. But yeah, Nasty Plot, Encore. Next up, Expanding Force. I put Expanding Force just because, obviously, this is a Psychic-type Pokemon with a filthy high special attack stat, great speed, has access to Expanding Force. We've seen Psychic Terrain used a good amount in Gen 9 on ladder. We've even seen it a few times in tournament. Indeedee coming back with a Psychic Terrain means it's Delphox time. Expanding Force, Expanding Force, Expanding Force. This would be the best Mega on Psychic Terrain teams, assuming Mega Alakazam gets banned in the future, which I still think it will, but conversation for another day. Now finally, the only other set that I want to bring up is really just changing the nature from Timid to Modest. Now, going from 403 to 367 speed is crazy. Being slower than Cinderace in the future, being slower than Tornadus T, being just slow, man, slower than even Darkrai in them. You don't want to be doing that. However, I can justify Modest on exactly one style of team, and that is a sticky web structure. If you're running a Sticky Webs team, this thing is faster than everything to begin with, so I think you can then get away with running Modest. And that actually is disgusting. The Modest calcs are mind-numbing. +2 Grass Knot, 1-hit KO Ting Lu. +2 Psyshock, 104% minimum to Slow King G. The calcs when you go Modest, they don't even make sense anymore, because you are going up 41 special attack points, which is like, yo, calm down there, buddy. In any case though, Timid is 99% of the time always going to be better. Modest is really just a slash for Webs teams. And anyways, that's basically what I have to say about Delphox. I think that this Pokemon should almost always be using Nasty Plot. I don't think the other sets are that worth it personally. It does have some support moves, right? It has screens, and other than that though, it's like what? You're not tricking when you're a Mega, that doesn't work. Wish off of this bunk 75 HP is not doing anything. Unless you ran like Calm Mind, Wish, Protect, like Clefable LARP, and at that point, bro, stop. Put that away. But yes, let me know in the comments below what you think about Delphox. To me, this is the strongest Mega Evolution, and a big part of that is it's a beast without an ability. We don't know the abilities for a majority of the Mega Pokemon. This one looks the best and is performing the best with no ability, and that goes a long way. So let me know in the comments below what you think. Let me know what Pokemon you want to see next, me going over good or bad. Planning to go over a vast majority of these Megas, probably in the next few days. I'll probably start going over some of the more unknown Megas, since I know people are still beating the game. But yep, hope you all enjoyed. I am going to be hosting another tournament tonight on Pokemon Showdown in the IDM room. You can check my channel community posts for more. I'll probably post a message soon about that. But yep, pull up, probably be like 8 or 9 p.m. EST like it's been the last couple of days, and I'll probably run 2 tournaments. So make your Gen 9 Zaza OU teams, because we're spinning it back. All right, thanks for watching. Peace.